Hello again everyone, back once again with Ren, and today we're going to look at playing guitar fast. Subscribe to my channel and come check out the website at renhimself.com for loads of lessons on all things guitar. Right, so first up you're going to find people all over the internet, your good teachers, friends, everyone telling you need this guitar, that guitar to play fast, this bit of kit, that pick, whatever it is. You can use pretty much anything and you can make it work for you. It's about familiarity and yeah, just getting to know your equipment really. That sounded wrong. But yeah, everything I say, you'll find somebody else will disagree with it. So all I can really do is tell you how you can make your life easier. Everything will work, but finding a guitar, not unlike this one, with a nice thin neck, that will help. You don't need to move your hand as much to play it fast. Awesome. Thick picks, that's a Jazz 3. Anything that's a millimetre or thicker is not going to flex an awful lot when you're playing. So again, we're getting into fractions, but the fractions matter when you're trying to play fast, so a thick pick will work for that. And having your guitar adjusted with a low action, so that's the strings being as close to the fretboard as they can go without creating any buzz. Again, fractions, but the fractions are going to matter. So yeah, your fingers being closer to the fretboard, not having to move so much for every note you're playing, that's going to help you speed enormously. Ultimately, if you like paper thin picks and guitars with necks like cricket bats and you can make it work, that's completely fine as well. Doesn't make any difference. If you've only got one guitar, again, you don't really get to have a choice, so use the guitar you've got, practice loads, and you'll get as fast as anybody else. These exercises I'm about to show you are a mixture of things that my teachers have shown me over the years, things I've developed myself to work up my own finger dexterity. If you practice all of them, work them into your daily routine, you can bang through all of them in minutes, 5-10 minutes depending on how fast you're playing. And if you do it every day, you're going to see improvements as the days pass. Certainly within a month you're going to be noticeably faster than you were when you started. So yeah, keep plugging away. Don't worry if you find it difficult in the beginning, and don't go faster than you can play cleanly unless you're deliberately and in small bursts trying to push your top end speed. There's no point in playing fast and playing really sloppy. It won't sound good anyway. You're just going to sound like you're making a mess. So clarity is as important as speed. So yeah, take your time. And most importantly, if anything hurts, if you find you're holding your body with too much tension anywhere, too much in your wrist, maybe your elbows, your shoulders are quite common, your neck as well. Anything hurts, slow down, stop, take a break. There's no prizes in this for injuring yourself. You can do yourself genuine harm, hurt your wrists, put yourself out of commission for ages from playing, and it's really not worth it. So please, if you have any discomfort at all, just stop, take a break, talk to me about it, come back to it later. Doesn't make any difference, no heroics. My teacher would tell me, and I should tell you, that you should be playing these exercises with a metronome. Make sure you know exactly what you're playing and where, how many notes you're playing over each measure. Make sure they're nice and equally spaced and fantastic, and that is all great advice. It's not as much fun, to be honest, and it'll probably feel like you're making less progress than if you just free time hammer it as fast as you possibly can. So I think probably in the first instance, just enjoy it, try and get your hands moving, try and get going a little bit quicker. If you're using it in improvisation for lead playing, then it's not going to make any difference anyway. You'll have kind of a loose feel over various bits and bobs, and I think that's going to be okay. If you find that you need to be more disciplined, then yeah, break out the metronome and start making sure that you're hitting all of the beats on the beat and that you're playing the number of notes that you're supposed to be playing over each beat, and that'll get you playing tidier over time. So the first exercise is tremolo picking, because obviously you're not going to pick fast unless you can pick fast. Before we get into synchronizing your fretting hand and your picking hand, it makes sense to get your picking hand moving at a little bit more of a pace. So what we're going to do in the first instance is pick a string, bottom string, might as well, it's the closest, and just start playing it. Now the important thing here is we're not going to hold the pick any differently when we're playing fast than we would the rest of the time, because you're going to want to be able to do it while you're playing, just switch into a sudden flurry of notes, not have to spend your time thinking, oh hang on, I've got to hold my pick a slightly different way, maybe I'm going to angle it differently to play faster. It's just not going to work in real world situations. So however you hold the pick, make sure, just like the lesson where we covered holding a pick, don't have too much sticking out between your thumb and your finger. However you're holding it, you'll make it work for you. I'm not going to try and re-educate how you're holding a pick, but just make sure you've got, I think I've probably got around about a millimetre, maybe a millimetre and a half sticking out in between my finger and my thumb. As little as you can get away with while still hitting the strings is what you want. And you want to concentrate on basically flicking across the string but keeping your pick almost in contact with the string. So up, down, up, down, up, down. But yeah, kind of like that, and you're just flicking back and forth. So rather than a big exaggerated movement across a string like that, you are just going to flick across it with as little movement as you can to actually sound the string, and you're almost playing down and then resting the pick on the upstroke against it. Up, rest it down, down, rest it up. And you can hear I kind of stop the string ringing with my pick at the same time. And that's it. Now, understandably, it's a little bit boring just playing one string again and again. No fun in that. You may have heard a song, Misaloo, however you pronounce it, by Dick Dale. Was used in a Tarantino film, Pulp Fiction, I think it might have been. Something like that. Let's make a bit more noise. Or something like that. Basically, just get your picking hand moving, and if you get bored, start playing a note as well. I've tabbed some of it out as exercise 1 on the webpage, but whatever you use, just get your picking hand moving. Exercise 2 is a traditional spider pattern really. My teacher showed me this many years ago. Yours will do at some point. Somebody, I'm sure, has shown you this over time. It's just one finger per fret, working across the strings, climbing up, then climbing down. So literally, bottom string, starting at the first fret. 1, 2, 3, 4. Upper string. Keep on working up the strings, frets 1 to 4. And strict down, up, down, up, down, up with your picking hand, obviously. Then when you get to the 4th fret on the top E string, slide up a fret to the 5th, then down, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2. And again, we're now at the 2nd fret of the low E string, slide up to the 3rd. Slide up again. And I typically work that all the way up to the 12th fret. It's also good to start on an upstroke instead of a down, so that you've swapped your hands around and everything's moving in the opposite direction. So repeat the exercise to the 12th fret, but up, down, rather than down, up. It's a fairly basic exercise. It's not tremendously useful from a musical point of view. It's fairly rare that in the middle of a song you're going to find yourself wanting to play. Maybe, but probably not. So yeah, it's not the most musical, but it'll get your fingers moving, and it's a good start for synchronising your fretting hand and your picking hand together. So yeah, won't do you any harm. It's going to increase your speed and dexterity in general. Now, off the back of your basic spider pattern, I've developed exercise 3, which is an evolution of the same thing, but twists your fingers in all possible permutations. It's tabbed out on the website. It's fairly complicated, to be honest, but basically you play one finger per fret again, and then move one finger at a time up a string. So start at the low E, 1, 2, 3, 4, then only your index moves up a string. then your index and middle fingers, 3 fingers, then all 4 on the next string up. Index alone moves up a string, then the middle as well. Now your ring finger, now all 4. Index up again. Then again you're at the 4th fret of the high E string, slide up a fret and then start coming back down. 1 finger at a time, so pinky first this time. Pinky and ring. Pinky, ring and middle. Then all 4. Pinky moves first again. That takes a little bit more thought than just banging up 1 finger per fret across the strings, which frankly you can do watching the TV and switch your brain off, just hammer away at it. This one is a little bit more complicated, does really get your brain working as well. Work it all the way up to the 12th fret, you may find your hand starts to hurt a little bit, your fingers are moving a great deal more, you're playing a great deal more than you are with just the spider pattern going up and down. So take your time with it, and if it hurts, stop. Now we've started looking at being more musical whilst trying to play fast. Let's take a look at an exercise where we start playing the top end of a scale, moving up through positions. So using A minor as the example. Exercise 4 is a picked version of the legato warm-up exercise I showed you a couple of lessons ago. So just working through each string in turn, and this is again tabbed on the website. Start on the 5th fret, picking all notes. 5, 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, 7, 3, 5, 7, 5, 3, 8, 5, 7, 8, 7, 5, 10, 7, 8, 10, 8, 7, 12, 8, 10, 12, 10, 8, 10, 7, 8, 10, 8, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, 7, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7, 5, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, 3. Then work through the strings. And yeah, as fast as you want to go. But again, keep it clean, and you'll find this is more useful in musical situations. Not necessarily every pattern between the nut and the 12th fret. Maybe a couple, move between 2 or 3 of them. You can do it pretty fast, and there's basically 6 notes per measure, so make sure you keep track of the first one of each set. So that'll be and yeah, with a little bit of distortion it sounds quite good. Exercise 5 continues the philosophy of trying to be musical while we're using these exercises. So in addition to picking the way you'll always pick, we're going to use the structures that you'll always use in your lead playing, namely the scales that we all know and love, the modal shapes, so G major or E minor depending on your point of view, and all the shapes up to the 12th fret, and well, slightly beyond for G major, to be honest, up to about the 15th. So yeah, G major, A Dorian, B Phrygian, C Lydian, D Mixolydian, E Aeolian or E natural minor, F sharp Locrian, then back to G major, Ionian again. Yeah, make sure you keep your picking strictly up, down, up, down, up, down. G major, A Dorian, B Phrygian. C Lydian, D Mixolydian, E Aeolian, natural minor, F sharp Locrian, and G major or Ionian again at the 15th fret. You'll notice the number of notes on each string changes, so your picking direction as you're moving between strings will also change, but keep with the strict alternate picking. It will really help you get used to moving backwards and forwards in genuine musical situations, and the skills you learn you'll be able to apply directly to all sorts of licks all over the place, rather than having to find ways to fit fast playing into your lead playing that sound a little bit artificial. And those exercises should be all you need to play fast, and for that fast playing you learn to be transferable into your day-to-day playing rather than being specific to exercises you learn. Your hands will get quicker over the days, so don't spend hours and hours on it. Don't play until your arms are burning. Just do a few minutes every day, and slow and steady, you'll get faster. You know what I mean? There are no prizes for hammering the hell out of it and breaking yourself in the process. The trick here is muscle memory, like everything else in guitar, so just keep on working at it and you will get there. There's no reason you can't be as quick as all the people you see on YouTube, but you don't have to be in a rush to get there in the first place. You're playing nice and clean, you're going to sound faster straight away. And fairly soon I'll have a lesson coming on how to fake it till you make it, basically how you can sound fast before you're really playing fast, which is what an awful lot of people do. So yeah, stay tuned for that one, and see you again soon on renhimself.com.